My name is Eric Mitchell. I live on the Okanagan Indian Band just down the road next to Salmon River Reserve. I have family in this community as well. In terms of these two words, recognition and reconciliation, I think what I'm feeling now, and a lot of us are feeling, is somebody is trying to push that together and it's stopping at my throat. I'm not going to swallow it. I think this is the first place that us others got to talk. And so we took them apart. Okay, never mind reconciliation, that's a whole big another thing. In one of the papers I read, Valentine's Day 1867, I believe that's when BC joined Canada. It said on there, they admitted that that statement that was made on that day was wrong. That's the first step that them province needs to take in recognizing who we are. You know, we use these big titles, Aboriginal title, right? But I want them to look at me and who I am, and who you are. I want them to look in your eyes and say, I'm sorry. I want them to say, yes, that was wrong. Today, I'm standing up as a white government and telling you that I recognize who you are. That thing that was talked about, the Wilfrid Quarry Memorial, in there, it said how we gifted those people when they came here. It said in there, in our culture, we expect that back in some way. Up until today, last few days, we've been waiting for that. We've been waiting for them to tell us, thank you for feeding us when we were starving in this land. Thank you for pointing the way when we got lost. All that kind of stuff. It's up to them to tell us. These three leaders, that name keeps coming up. What I want you to do now is to listen to some direction. I want them, province, to say these things. Not only to just me, they mentioned in there already on the news, in the air, the radio, the TV. They're already talking about this to the public, and we're just talking about it today. Something wrong with that. What I'd like to see that Recognition Act say is they name the 20 nations. We have 20, 25 nations, depending on the language we speak, that our forefathers spoke. Only a very few of us speak today. And it's up to you three fellas to make sure that they don't miss one. You've been around long enough, you said. I heard that a number of times. You should know damn well who's Indian and who's not. So your job from today on is to make sure that when they say, I recognize you, that they don't leave anybody out. I want you to let them know that when they say, I recognize your Aboriginal title, I want them to know that they mean they recognize me and everything in this universe that belongs to us. That means that the ground that my grandfather stood on, they recognize that we own it. Lock, stock, and barrel. I want them to say that not only will they so-called share, you know, I don't even want to go there yet. I want them to say that I recognize they've stolen our lands from us. They took all the gold, they took all the water, they're even sucking the air out of us. I want them to recognize that all those things, that was wrong. And I don't want any more for you fellas there to give anything away that's ours. When you say share, you mean 50% yours. No. That comes next. If I want an apology from Wayne, I don't go over there and ask him and tell him how I want it, you know. I would prefer him just to say it with sincerity, with the knowledge of what he's saying. And then, once we accept that, then we can tell them, this is what it means to us. You know, so I don't think we need to sit here too much longer. You know, if they want to apologize, well, help them do that. But don't give them nothing. Because unless they recognize our Aboriginal title 100%, then, you know, we're no better off than we are today. Once a person recognizes you for who you are, and then we can bring up those words from that Wilfrid Laurier Memorial. Our people were willing to feed them. They were willing to bring them into their families. Our people seen in some of the things that they brought that would help us live together in a better, good way. Of course, we all know that quite a few of them things they brought was no good for us. You know, we're all sick and dying of that today. But together, maybe we can, you know, that reconciliation, let them make the recognition. We'll let them know if we accept that or not. And then we'll take time to talk to each other. There's too many assumptions being made. The biggest thing the Indian Act does, first of all, we're under their law, under their guidance and their rules. But what happens, it doesn't work for us because on our community we have, say 400 eligible voters. And more every year, these young people are coming of age. And more, they want to have a say in stuff. So us old guys, we're getting kind of old, and them young people are coming up, you know, really fast. Our population is growing. But what happens in our elections? We have 400 names that could vote, now on reserve, now off reserve. And guess what? Barely 100 vote. So what does that say there? You know, and then when they bring stuff to meetings, there's 7 councillors, they vote on something, only 4 of them have to vote for it. How flawed that is, it's ridiculous. I'm sure that our ancestors left us with a better way of doing things. It's simple to know that which one you're going to go by. The one that kept the kind of thinking that we had that kept us here 10,000 years, or the kind of thinking that we have with us today that damn near ruined us in 150. So there's no contest. The white man's way is not working, not even for them. Somebody said a while ago, the world needs us. You're darn right it needs us. You're darn right. I know for myself, the more I learn about my language, the more I'm proud to say who I am. Because in our language is those teachings, is those laws, is those ways of being with one another, and is those ways of taking us another 10,000 years. The fact remains that there's way more of them here than us, you know, and more than likely they don't have a country to go back to. That's why they came here in the first place. So we need to find a way to help them. So with that, I know I'm not from this community, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart to hear my words, that I talk on behalf of my children and grandchildren. Right?